City Complex in Peterborough. It's day 2 and the final game of the 2026 OHL U16 Top Prospects Showcase, which is a part of the Connor McDavid Top Prospects game presented by Enbridge Gas, leading up to the 2026 OHL Priority Selection in Kingston on June 12th and 13th, presented by Real Canadian Superstore. We have Team Tavares, who won 3-2 yesterday over Team McDavid, and on the back end, Shane Roche had a great game for Team Tavares. Jordan, what do you like about Shane's game?
Keeps things relatively simple, but plays a strong defensive game, uses his reach well, frees up pucks along the wall, applies pressure. Someone on Team Tavares yesterday I thought had a good, strong defensive game, getting pucks out of his zone and playing, a simple but effective game where he's able to win pucks and keep things out of his zone.
We look over at Team Suzuki, who had a big 6-2 win, and a guy on the back end who had a strong game was Ethan Davidson out of the Central Ontario Wolves.
Similar elements there, where someone that you always notice for little details of winning pucks in his defensive zone, using his reach. And there's a bigger 6-foot-plus defenseman who can play defensive style and win pucks and chip them out. Always someone you notice and look for him to have a decent game again here today.
Part of that big win for Team Suzuki yesterday. 4-goal start to the third period to explode up 6-1 on Team Byfield. And for Team Tavares yesterday, they had another good showing from a few different guys, including Cole Giuseppe and Jack Samak, the Markham Majors player who hasn't played much this season but had a strong showing yesterday.
Yeah, I thought from returning back from injury, he's only played a few games in the new year, showed his offensive creativity, handling the puck, trying to make plays. Really nice to see for, I'm sure, a lot of people in the building who haven't quite seen him at all this season. So a good opportunity for him to make more plays, filling in for an injured Matt Zielinski. But we'll see what he does here today. But great opportunity. He took advantage of it yesterday, and another chance for him to wow people in the building.
And then the guy we couldn't stop talking about yesterday, 3 assists in the win for Team Suzuki, is the only 2011-born player in the showcase, the 14-year-old from Round Rock, Texas, Cade O'Rourke.
I said it before the broadcast, or before the game, that he was someone to watch. I didn't quite expect that performance from him, but he was really wowing people with the confidence, the hands, working in the offensive zone. And again, the cherry on top is that he's a year younger than everybody else. So to have that performance against the best of the best of the age group above you is quite a remarkable showing for him. We'll see if he can work the same magic here today, but quite the showing from the 2011-born defender from the Canadians.
Big player potentially applying for exceptional status. We'll have to wait and see if that's the case. Cole Giuseppe of Upper Canada College showed a lot of skill and a lot of speed up front. Not the biggest guy, but a guy who can play with a ton of pace.
Yeah, we noted him yesterday quite a few times. Just relentless off the puck, working on the back check, working on the forecheck, and again, for probably the smallest guy in attendance here in the showcase, bringing that effort, bringing the relentless off-puck play to win pucks. Had some offensive moments as well, but that relentless pressure and just always motoring and working hard on the ice was nice to see.
5'6", 154-pound 15-year-old with Upper Canada College, as Innes Robinson had a big goal for Team Suzuki yesterday, plays out of the Ottawa Junior 67s program.
Yeah, someone I thought brought a lot of energy and pace, similar to what Giuseppe was doing, but a little bit more offensive creation from Robinson. He's coming off a strong effort in the HGO Top Prospects game, so building on that here to translate into a strong performance where there were some moments of skill, but moments of just flying up and down the ice and bringing non-stop hustle was great to see from him yesterday. And another one probably looking at a good performance here today.
Another look at Andrew Lauren from the Quinte Red Devils in the OMHA U16 program. He showed a ton of pace and skill in the game yesterday as well for Team Tavares.
Yeah, a few good scoring chances for him. He finds space well in the offensive zone and thrives as kind of a catch-and-release shooter where he can grip and rip shots and get some velocity on his shots from just a quick little drag release. So a few scoring chances for him yesterday.
Braden Riley had a big game for Team Suzuki as well. Felt like a lot of guys put up the offensive points, but the Toronto Marlboro had a strong performance and looking for another one this afternoon.
Yeah, it was always buzzing around the net, working, fishing out for rebounds, always that nose for the net kind of player who, when he got his opportunity, found the back of the net on a little bit of a rebound garbage goal, but they count, and it was helpful in their 6-goal victory where he chipped in and found the back of the net.
Brayden Grimo was the game MVP for Team Tavares yesterday with a goal and an assist in the contest. A loaded Toronto Junior Canadians team who are ranked 3rd in the OHL Cup power rankings at this point of the season. Continued on with some strong play over the course of the year with a big showing yesterday.
Yeah, it was a nice showing of his offensive awareness, knowing where things were going in the offensive zone, that kind of feel for pressure to make plays while he has defenders all over him, and just work well in the offensive zone, just with smart little decisions where he's advancing plays and making sure plays get to high danger areas and generating scoring chances.
Braden Grima, the team MVP from yesterday, and his team Tavares in the final game of this 4-game showcase, set to take on Team Suzuki, as they had a big win yesterday with a ton of offensive firepower, mixed in with a strong performance in net by Marco Misek of the Toronto Junior Canadiens. We'll see Austin Bennett today. The two teams getting ready, this final game of this showcase put on by the Ontario Hockey League, as we'll step aside and send you to our pregame ceremony at center ice before we get things underway between Team Tavares and Team Suzuki at the Miskin Law Community Complex in Peterborough. Getting ready for the fourth and final game of this 2026 OHL U16 Top Prospects Showcase between Team Suzuki and Team Tavares, the two teams that won yesterday. Igor Sokolov gets the start for Team Tavares. The Toronto Marlboros played U15 last year with the Marlboros. He had a good showing in the Silver Stick, allowing 5 goals in 2 games, and he allowed 2 goals in 2 games in the Marlies tournament back in December, looking for a big start after Ryland DaCosta got the win yesterday for Team Tavares. The other end of the ice, Team Suzuki, led by Austin Bennett from Ottawa Myers. 13 games this season, just 3-6-3, but has a .341 goals against, and he's played all of his seasons with Ottawa Myers over the course of the last 3 years. Played 2 games at the Wendy Dufton tournament, where he did not allow a goal for Ottawa Myers, 6'2", 185-pound, 15-year-old. Team's getting set for the start of this one. Jack Moore, Jordan Millette with you on FloHockey. Thanks for joining us and spending your last 2 days with us. As Lachlan Whelan will face off against Cole Giuseppe to get us underway, and Whelan wins the draw. Nixon McKegg working it back for Kate O'Rourke. O'Rourke swings it back to McKegg, and O'Rourke will high flip this one through center. Rory Shaughnessy knocks it down. Lucas Matheson, we highlighted off the top of the show yesterday, back with it in his own zone. Shaughnessy from the Hill Academy plays this one out to center and tipped in by the Toronto Marlboro Mason Quinn. Chasing it down and centering it back to the point, Rory Shaughnessy. Throws it in front for Cole Giuseppe of Upper Canada College. Bouncing puck in the slot, pulled away by Braden Riley, another Toronto Marlboro. Tons of them in this game. And the Marlboros goaltender, Sokolov, leaves it back in behind his own net, and Shaughnessy will start up for Team Tavares. Puck knocked down at center. Pulled free by Jacob Kuklinski. And now taken away by Team Tavares, and crashing in hard to the net was Jack Samek of the Markham Majors, and that'll draw a stoppage with the net coming off its moorings.
Good start from Samek to get in on the forecheck, win the puck, and try to attack the net. So some jump early from him, who had coming off a strong game yesterday. So quick start, looking to build off that, where he gets in on the forecheck and wins the race to the puck.
Offensive zone faceoff win, and Shane Roche fires it wide. Jane LeCastro, a couple Marley's defensive teammates, chasing it down in the offensive zone for Team Tavares. Samek leaves this one back. Pulled free by Ethan Davidson of the Central Ontario Wolves. Kuklinski. Reset back in his own zone and find Davidson. Plays it out to center. Poked free in the neutral zone by Joseph Fenwick, the Markham Majors. He'll dump it in deep. Samek battling Davidson for the puck. Samek comes away with it. LeCastro back at the point, firing. A shot deflects and goes wide. Picked up by Matthew Taylor. Scored the game winner with 1:14 to go in the third for Team Tavares yesterday of the Ajax Pickering Raiders. Flip into the net. Fitzgerald couldn't get a tip on. That one coming from Ethan Bridges. Bridges knocks it down at the blue line and plays it back out to center for Colton Van Geffen. And a penalty coming up here against Team Suzuki will send Team Tavares to the power play early in this one.
Nice pass there from Bridges to spot the saucer pass over the stick. Almost created a chance for Team Suzuki early. That creative passing game from Bridges is what personally I always notice from his game, so nice to see it come out only 2 minutes into this one, where that creativity in his passing game almost generated a quality chance for Suzuki.
Evan Fitzgerald called for the interference for Team Suzuki, so they'll be shorthanded to start this one. Roman Stefan of the Windsor Junior Spitfires couldn't find it in the offensive zone, and this one sent out to center, where Leo Hendricks, the Eastern Ontario Wild, resets. Works it out to Taden Smith. Brought up by Stefan. Now it's Hendricks flipping it into the offensive zone. Nathan Hewitt was chasing it down. Puck played back to the line, and Taden Smith works it across for Hendricks. His shot stopped by Bennett, and the rebound corralled by Hendricks in the far corner. Works it up the wall, and now back down low for Hewitt. Shaden Hintenberger, also of the Hill Academy, couldn't pull that one free. Tizik back to Hendricks. Up top, Taden Smith gets it back into the middle. His shot stopped by Bennett. The rebound in front. And that gets cleared away by Team Suzuki as King Kluchier sends it down the ice, and Sokolov will play it off for Roman Stefan. And chased down by Tanner Adams. We talked about him yesterday. Big physical forward out of the Hill Academy. This one gets knocked down by Roman Van Acker at center. Dumped into the far corner where Cato Rourke fanned on the clearing attempt, but Adams gets it up the wall, kept in by Shaughnessy at the point. Rory Shaughnessy throws it in front. Left pad stopped by Austin Bennett. Sent back down the ice. 30 seconds left in this Team Tavares power play. Lucas Matheson works that one off. Tanner Adams trying to pull it free in the offensive zone, but Shaughnessy will pull it back. Up against his Hill Academy teammate is a chance the other way, and that one gets deflected up and out of play after Andrew Lauren was looking for a break into the offensive zone.
Quick pass up there from Matheson to spring Lauren on the rush, but O'Rourke doesn't give him any space, recovers, uses his feet to shut down the Lauren rush the other way. So good pass up, but doesn't get anything, doesn't get the shot off with good stick from O'Rourke to shut it down.
13 seconds left in the power play as this clear doesn't leave the zone. Cato O'Rourke will find it behind his own net. Now it's Evan Bannister, credit ready for Capitals. Sends it back to the point, but Matheson forced all the way back into his own end. And Team Tavares has to reset. Shaughnessy, we're back to 5-on-5. With just over 4 minutes gone in this first period. Matheson works it off to the wall. Jake Readings pinned up to the boards by Lachlan Whelan of the Quinney Red Devils. Readings from the London Junior Knights. Pulled out by Lauren. Lost out at center, and a big hit there, but it springs a chance for Lachlan Whelan with speed. Whelan walks in, and that gets blocked up and out of play by Jaden LeCastro, closing the gap and getting his leg in the way to knock it out of play.
Whelan had some good rushes yesterday, seeing what he can do in open ice, using his feet to win the race and attack off the rush. Good block shot, but you can see the speed from Whelan when he gets going in transition.
Face-off won by Giuseppe out at center. Declan McNally will reset back for Team Suzuki in his own end. This one gets pulled free, and Grima will play it around the boards. Roche back at the point. Giuseppe steps down. That one goes wide. Rebound side of the net. Shot never came on with Grima parked in front. Braden Riley trying to dig it free. Now Declan McNally in there. Pulled loose by Team Tavares. Giuseppe scores! Cole Giuseppe gets on the board first. 4:59 into the opening frame. It's 1-0 Team Tavares.
Really good shift all around from Mason Quinn on the forecheck, winning the puck, working down low, and then works off the wall, dishes to Giuseppe, who fires it home. So that's 2 shifts in a row. I've noticed Quinn on the forecheck winning pucks, so reward on the score sheet there, but some good hustle and good effort from Mason Quinn to free up the puck and spot his line mate in the slot for the goal.
Cole Giuseppe with 3 goals in the Wendy Dufton tournament in London this year for Upper Canada College, as Mason Quinn, who had that assist, back into the offensive end for Team Tavares. Puck picked up by Braden Riley. He'll shovel it up for Evan Fitzgerald. Out to center. Riley gets dumped down to the ice by Mason Quinn. Talked about noticing him early, now picking up some hits, but a takeaway has a chance, and that one's sent wide by Quinn Roberts. London Junior Knight with a good look for Team Suzuki. Giuseppe gets this one out to center. It's swept away by Hintenberger. And Evan Fitzgerald plays this one ahead as Jane LeCastro resets at his own line. Grima. He goes cross ice. Taden Smith joining the rush. Turned aside by Bennett. Puck back to the line and out to center is Leo Hendricks. Stops up in the neutral zone and dumps this one into the offensive end. Hintenberger around the far board. Samek centers it, taken away by Quinn Roberts. Snap it out to center. Kane Cloutier chasing it down. Walks in, scores! Kane Cloutier makes it a 1-1 game just under a minute and a half later for Team Suzuki.
Yeah, quick break the other way for Cloutier and rips one, beating the goaltender. He's someone for the Vaughan Kings that this is his game. When he gets his opportunity, he's going to finish. Quick shot just over the pad under the trapper for Cloutier. High-end offensive skill player for the Vaughan Kings team, and showcases his toolkit there, finishing on the rush with a quick shot.
Played for the Junior Canadians last year, Hill Academy the year before. 4 goals, 6 assists in 4 games at the Wendy Dufton tournament this year in London. Buries it home to make it a 1-1 game. As Team Suzuki back in, and Cloutier has it again. A shot comes on, stopped by Sokolov. And Kukulinski had a great chance there for Team Suzuki, but it gets stopped by the Marlborough's goaltender.
More from Bridges, entering the offensive zone, not rushing his decision, seeing Cloutier cross ice to create that whole chance there. So I talked about it earlier with Bridges kind of understanding where his line mates are and spots the cross ice pass.
Cloutier right off the draw as O'Rourke fires, and that gets gloved down by Sokolov. Sorry to cut you off there.
It's all good.
But a good chance there for Team Suzuki right off the draw. It's Kane Cloutier feeling it early in this one. Trying to win that one forward, but Tissick knocked it free, and Leo Hendricks dumps it out to center where Nixon McKegg will send it across for Cloutier. Cloutier in, and Kukulinski tipped it wide. He was looking for a slash or a hook call from the refs, didn't get it. Kate O'Rourke fires, that gets turned aside by Sokolov. O'Rourke gets it back at the line. Kate O'Rourke, game MVP for Team Suzuki yesterday with 3 assists as that shot comes through and stopped by Sokolov. Covers up with 8:04 to go in the first period and a 1-1 game.
More of that confidence from O'Rourke working at the point, showing his hands and feet to work, and Bridges again attacking off the wall for a dangerous chance. A really good shift for that whole line there for Team Suzuki to sustain pressure.
Shane Huning picks it up off the draw. Ajax Pickering Raider. Into the corner, Matheson around the boards. Tanner Adams trying to pull it free as Declan McNally knocked it down, but it gets out to center. Huning lost it, and away goes Stefan into the offensive zone. Sidestepped a couple of checks as this one goes back to the line. Matheson couldn't clear, and now Tanner Adams. Hack the other way for Team Suzuki. Adams plays this one down low to Huning. Shea Huning Pinned up to the wall by Matheson and picked up by Tissick. Back to the line, knocked down by Ethan Davidson. Rory Shaughnessy resets for Team Tavares. Declan McNally trying to craft his way through. He got stood up by Shaughnessy. And Matheson will reset him behind his own net. Tissick. Snap pass out to center, knocked down by Davidson. Evan Bannister couldn't get the dump in the first time. And Team Tavares is offside, so they have to reset, and that gives time for Davidson to swing back in behind his own goal. Played it up the boards and went off the body of Jake Readings and into the Team Suzuki bench.
Shaughnessy showing no sign of backing down with McNally coming his other way. Probably the heaviest player on the ice, potentially in the whole circuit there. When he's coming your way and showing that confidence to step up and lay the check to deny the entry, always nice to see that.
Shaughnessy, a big player in his own right, just over 6 feet, 170 pounds. McNally, 6'4". Had a good game yesterday. He was paired up with Kate O'Rourke. The lines and the deep pairings going in a blender a bit for Team Suzuki in this one. So Readings took it away at center, but Innes Robinson flex that into the offensive zone. Shane Roche plays it ahead, and away goes Andrew Lauren. Into the offensive zone. Lauren fires, that gets blocked and into the corner. That one stung Nicholas Christakos as this shot comes through from the point, high and wide off the stick of Evan Bannister. Readings, back to Bannister up top, across for LaCastro, and that one goes wide. Readings, back to the point, Robinson tips it to the line, kept in by Roche, but pulled out to center by Lachlan Whelan. He'll dump it in, and Sokolov will kick it into the near corner. Christakos lost it to Bannister. He'll step into the offensive zone with some speed. Bannister fires, and that gets shouldered away by Austin Bennett and up and out of play.
We didn't see much of Bannister yesterday, but good chance there for him on the rush. OMHA West leading scorer there with a quick look. One of the more detail-oriented, like protect the puck sort of centerman, dependable two-way guys, showing a bit of offensive chance there for a little rush chance.
He was consistent at the Silver Stick and the Marlies tournament for the Credit River Capitals with 2 goals and 2 assists in each. Like you mentioned, 33 goals this year in 29 games in the OMHA West. Quinn Roberts trying to create offensively. In there with Braden Riley. Pinned up to the boards by Jane LaCastro. Shane Roche played up the boards for Grima. Tips it out to center, and Cole Giusetti. He'll pick up and go into the offensive zone. And we're going to get a penalty here against Braden Riley for cross-checking behind the play. 5:34 to go in the first period. Second power play of the game for Team Tavares.
We'll see what they can do here. An opportunity to get out ahead and get a lead on Team Suzuki early.
Braden Riley off to the box from the Toronto Marlboros. Team Tavares will be kicked out of the face-off circle, so Cole Giusetti will step out. Braden Grima will step in. Grima wins that one back to the point for Taden Smith. Off to Hendricks, his shot deflected in front. Rebound picked up by Kate O'Rourke. O'Rourke up the wall, and it gets played out to center as this one dumped down by Quinn Roberts. Leo Hendricks will reset back in his own zone. Taden Smith starts the breakout with Cole Giusetti. He'll flip it in for Grima, forced into the corner by his Junior Canadians teammate Kate O'Rourke. Mason Quinn back to the point. Taden Smith off to Grima. Back to Smith up top. Smith, Grima, cross-ice pass, gets deflected by Cloutier, but kept in by Hendricks at the line. Nixon McKegg chasing that one down. Mason Quinn coming away with it. Cole Giusetti back up top for Leo Hendricks. Cross for Taden Smith. Grima back to Smith up top. The Sudbury Wolf plays it to Grima. Grima and Smith switch spots. He fires through traffic, deflected in front, and Quinn sent it wide. Now Mason Quinn. Up the boards and back to the line. Opens up and finds Hendricks. Hendricks, he goes cross ice for Taden Smith. Couldn't fire down at the goal line. Grima plays it down low. Kate O'Rourke pulls it free. Sends it down the ice. 35 seconds remain in this power play for Team Tavares. It's both teams getting a wholesale change. Rory Shaughnessy starts out from his own zone. He'll drop this one back, and it resets for Joseph Fenwick. Fenwick tipped in by Matthew Taylor. Fenwick will chase it down on the end boards and pushed into the wall by Ethan Davidson. Sent out to center as Matheson has to reset with Shaughnessy. Here's Taylor, flipping it in, taken away by Team Suzuki, and Jacob Kuklinski sent on to Sokolov, and he'll cover up for a face-off. So penalty over for Team Suzuki. We're tied at 1 with 3:32 to go in the first period.
Some decent offensive zone time there for Team Tavares. Tayden Smith and Leo Hendricks controlling things on the power play. A couple good looks. They both looked comfortable out there. Smith especially controlling things, and Hendricks with a nice backdoor pass.
Matheson collects off the face-off, and Matthew Taylor plays it to the line, knocked down by Huning. Sent in front for Roman Vanacker, but taken away by Team Tavares and out to center where Hintenberger will play it ahead. Roman Vanacker into the offensive zone, drops it off. Tanner Adams fanned on that shot, and Huning banks it back to the point. And Geffen was looking for a shot from the point, deflected and got knocked down in the slot, and reset by Jack Samek. Rory Shaughnessy plays this one ahead as Tanner Adams pulls it free, couldn't find Vanacker. Matheson works it off for Matthew Taylor. Taylor into the offensive zone, driving around the net, sends it back in front. Quick shot gets blocked down in front by Van Geffen. Colton Van Geffen with a big block on a nice setup by Matthew Taylor. And now Samek has to reset in his own zone. But it's taken away by Team Suzuki. Flipped down low. Vanacker trying a deflection on. That gets covered up by Igor Sokolov.
The game-winning goal yesterday from Matthew Taylor, showing some pace and quickness there to get in behind the fence and create the chance. So a little bit of jump in his step, takes the puck wide, and then hits Samek open in front of the net. So nice to see Taylor bring it again today.
Team Tavares, Jacob Tissick will be kicked out of the face-off circle. So Nathan Hewitt of the Niagara North Stars steps in. Lachlan Whelan wins the draw. McKegg works it across for Kate O'Rourke. O'Rourke centers it, taken away by Team Tavares. Now picked back up by Team Suzuki, and Lachlan Whelan plays it in deep. Innes Robinson pins it up to the wall. Tissick plays it up the boards. McKegg knocked it down, kept in by Whelan. It's played up the boards, and Whelan knocked it down again. This one flipped into the Team Tavares bench with 2:02 to go in the opening frame.
More from Roach there. I thought he's had a solid game thus far as a defensive, applying pressure and winning pucks. Nothing gets in behind him, and he's trying to use his stick to free up pucks and not let anything happen. He's had some good looks early in the game of just defending his blue line.
Jaden LeCastro comes away with it off the faceoff. Andrew Lauren will fire this into the offensive zone. Readings plays it around the boards. LeCastro pinches down. Now it's McKegg. Cross for O'Rourke. Sweeps it up the wall, but Shane Roche pinched down. Now it's Lachlan Whelan back in his own zone. Tight turn and creates some space, and Innes Robinson's out to center. Lachlan Whelan with speed. His shot deflected wide by LeCastro. Andrew Lauren picks up in his own zone, evades the check, but McKegg kept it in at the line, and that gets sent wide. O'Rourke feeds it back in front and looking for a deflection from Whelan. He missed on that, and McKegg resets at center. Nicholas Christakos plays it ahead for Whelan, sweeps it into the offensive zone and goes for a change. Jaden LeCastro has time to reset back in his own end. LeCastro out to center is Lauren and Grima going into the same spot, and that allows Ethan Davidson to reset with under a minute to go in period number 1. We're tied at 1 between Team Suzuki and Team Tavares. Braden Riley into the offensive end. Rebound in front, and they score. Quinn Roberts banks it home with 45 seconds to play in the first period. It's 2-1 for Team Suzuki.
Roberts had a strong game yesterday as a creative playmaker, puck manager, but rewarded on the score sheet today for going to the net and finishing this one. So strong game yesterday, showing his passing creativity, and today goes to the net picks up the rebound off the Braden Riley shot.
Goal and an assist here this afternoon for Quinn Roberts. He had the pass into open space for King Cloutier. And Team Suzuki takes a 2-1 lead with under a minute to go in the first period. As Cole Giuseppe, who has the goal for Team Tavares, looking for another one. Taken away by Quinn Roberts. It's a 2-on-1 as Fitzgerald walks in. Evan Fitzgerald waits, makes a move, and couldn't put it home on the backhand. Back to the point for Davidson. McNally pulls and shoots. Rebound for Roberts. Smith. Back in front, they score. Braden Riley. Quick strike ability, and 26 seconds later, it's 3-1 Team Suzuki.
Another Braden Riley in and around the net, finishing off. I thought that was a nice play by McNally to drag, show the confidence to walk in, having the hands in the bigger frame to try to attack and walk in. And then, yeah, nice pass from Fitzgerald to Braden Riley net front to tap it home.
How many times are kids at this age trying to pull that onto their forehand and put it in the net with a defender right there, but to make that pass for Evan Fitzgerald. So 2 goals in quick succession and 3 unanswered in this opening frame. Team Suzuki's offense keeps pouring it on in this event. They're up 3-1, 11 seconds to go in this first period after a puck went up and out of play. Braden Grima resets with Matheson. Matheson plays this one ahead. Mason Quinn off for Grima. Off to Quinn, tries to slash it towards the net, but it goes wide, and the first period comes to an end. We were at the minute mark at the end of 15 minutes, or at the end of this first period, and it was a 1-1 game, but 2 goals late for Team Suzuki. Has them up 3-1 through the opening frame.
Yeah, the offensive firepower coming through with guys like Quinn Roberts, and Ethan Bridges had some good moments, Clayton Cloutier as well, and they've got things going. Giuseppe with a nice feed there from Mason Quinn to finish the Giuseppe goal. Gain Cloutier fires it off the breakaway, off a pass from Quinn Roberts. And some more moments from O'Rourke, not quite the magic from yesterday, but he has had some times of showcasing his flair and had some moments for him. That was the Taylor forecheck pesky play to win it for Samek. And Braden Riley throws it on net, and Quinn Roberts finishes home. And the goal we just saw was, again, Braden Riley in the right spot at the right time and potting the goal.
So 3-1 for Team Suzuki. They won 6-2 yesterday. And yesterday was Team Tavares scoring all 3 of their goals in the game in the final minute 15 of each period. Scored with 3 seconds left, 50 seconds left, and then a minute 14 to go in the third period to win it. But Team Suzuki with 2 goals in the final 45 seconds to take a 3-1 lead as King Cloutier sets up in the offensive zone with Van Geffen. And Sokolov makes the stop and covers up 19 seconds into the second.
Quick little entry there from Cloutier, chipping it by the defenseman into space, using his speed to win the puck, curl back, and hit the defenseman. So creative little entry to win the zone and get in and set up an offensive zone chance.
Team Tavares will be kicked out of the face-off circle, so stepping out is Jack Samek. Team Suzuki wins the draw as Cloutier. Back at the line, feeds it across for Hintenberger. Back in for Cloutier, across, and that gets punched out by Sokolov. As Ethan Bridges had the look from the Huron-Perth Lakers. Pass back in front for Bridges. Missed his stick, tipped to the line, but it springs a chance for Samek the other way for Team Tavares. 3-on-1, Taylor, Samek across, and just missing Joseph Fenwick on the near post. Van Geffen chips it to the line, kept in by Matheson, and then off a glove at the Team Tavares bench.
Samek almost spots his Markham Majors teammate backdoor. Little touch pass from Taylor back to him, and then Fenwick almost had the backdoor play. So a couple of rushes from Samek here. We're seeing what he can do off the rush and showing the creativity in offense, but almost there for Fenwick backdoor to finish that one.
Face-off won by Team Suzuki in their own zone, and Kate O'Rourke sends it to the line, and it gets out as Roman Stefan dumps it back in, and he got sent down to the ice by Shane Huning. Team Suzuki resetting is Kate O'Rourke. Into the offensive zone, crafting off to the wall, but pulled off his stick by Tissick. Battle for the puck comes free, and Huning fires, punched out by Sokolov. That goes up and out of play. Early in this one, Team Suzuki still putting on the pressure offensively.
More confidence from O'Rourke to carry the puck to the neutral zone, weave in and out of pressure, showcasing his hands in motion and gaining the zone there for Team Suzuki.
Tanner Adams on the draw for Team Suzuki. Yeah. Power play goal yesterday as Kate O'Rourke gets it at the line. Nixon McKegg gives it back. So O'Rourke fires, and Sokolov fought it off with his shoulder. Roman Vanacker in there. Tanner Adams springs it free. Jaden LaCastro plays it up the wall. Adams picks it up, drives in, stopped by Sokolov. Rebound couldn't be jammed home, but O'Rourke holds it in at the line. Stick breaks, Adams down low, walking around the net, banks it off the pad of Sokolov and kept out by Team Tavares. Shane Roche playing it around the boards and now has his man pinned up. Huning trying to dig it free, but finally pulled loose by Tissick. Stayed in at the line by McKegg. That shot deflected wide by Shea Huning. He'll get it back in the circle, pulled off his stick by Stefan. And he'll skate it out to center. Nice move to craft in, but poked away by Ethan Davidson. Stefan flips it back to the point. He'll get it back in the corner. Playing give and go with Nathan Hewitt. Leo Hendricks gets it at the line. Now it's across, and that shot gets through. Taden Smith ripped it home from the far circle over the shoulder of Austin Bennett. And Team Tavares gets back on the board to make it a one-goal game. It's 3-2.
Yeah, we talked about this pairing earlier of being a little bit more comfortable, a little more offensive-minded. Taden Smith with the Sudbury Junior Wolves, definitely an offensive-minded defenseman. And here, good pass from Hendricks. Smith showing the patience to walk the line, find the shooting lane. Hit a little bit of deflection there, but good confidence for him to walk in and find the lane.
5 goals in 26 games this year with the Sudbury Junior Wolves. Has an assist with Kirkland Lake in the Northern Ontario Junior League in 2 games. Another player, a few in this event, who have got some experience in the OJHL, NOJHL, and GOHL. As Declan McNally sends this one out to center, Christakos springs in Wheelan. He steps in and he hits the post. That one stayed out. Now it's Davidson firing and stopped by Sokolov. Team Suzuki trying to get back on the board, but Lachlan Whelan rings iron.
I've been saying a lot of the same things with Whelan. You can see the abilities, the quickness, the hands, and what he can create in open ice. So here, on the entry, quick shot to the far side off the post.
Puck played back to the line. It forces McNally out to center. And it's Robinson into the offensive zone. Played out to the neutral zone, but Whelan knocks it free for Robinson. Banks it to himself off the boards. Chasing it down, he'll get some help from Christakos. Now pulled free by Taden Smith. And the goal to pull Team Tavares back within 1. Here's Lachlan Whelan. Dropping it off for Ethan Davidson. Now it's McNally. Keeping it away from Readings. Davidson plays it up the boards, and Leo Hendricks fire this one back into the Team Suzuki zone. Lauren drops it off, but taken away by Ennis Robinson as Team Tavares was making a change. Now a race for the puck, and that's going to go for icing. With 11:10 to go in the second period, and a 3-2 game between Team Suzuki and Team Tavares.
Suzuki still pouring it on. They got out to a little bit of a lead there at 3-1. They're still not letting up, applying the pressure and looking to create more and add to that lead after some firepower yesterday that's translating into today's game.
Cole Giuseppe on the face-off for Team Tavares, but it's Team Suzuki pulling it free. Quinn Roberts out to center. Couldn't find the loose puck as he was tied up, and Colton Van Geffen sends it back to the neutral zone. Mason Quinn walks in for Team Tavares. He'll fire, stopped by Bennett. The rebound played to the line is Shaughnessy. Lost it out to center and resets. Cole Giuseppe works that one off for Lucas Matheson, and Rory Shaughnessy back in his own zone in front of Sokolov. Plays it ahead for Grima. Knocked free, and Hintenberger will play it back for Quinn Roberts at center. Roberts dumping that one in. Shoveled it around the boards by Lucas Matheson, the Barrie Colts. Mason Quinn Driving in, holding, cross-ice pass for Giuseppe just out of his reach. Grima sets up behind the net, centering pass, takes a deflection, and it springs Quinn Roberts the other way. Roberts into the offensive zone, snaps it across, but deflected back out to center by Roche, and he'll join the rush. He's got Grima with him. Grima plays it back for Giuseppe, kept in at the line by Mason Quinn. Kate O'Rourke took it away, knocked down by Quinn, but O'Rourke's second chance pass gets crossed to Cloutier. Dane Cloutier up the ice. His pass intercepted by Shane Roche. Matthew Taylor in with speed. He'll get it back, but couldn't find it. Now a shot comes through, and that gets turned aside by Bennett with a ton of traffic in front. Ethan Bridges knocking it free, and Kate O'Rourke with the outlet pass up for Kuklinski. Driving in on Roche. Kuklinski lost it on the boards. O'Rourke picks up at the point. He fires. That gets turned aside by Sokolov. Matthew Taylor skates it back out to center. Play it across, looking for Fenwick. Knocks free, but LeCastro will pick up in the neutral zone for Team Tavares. Leaves this one for Fenwick. Taylor, his shot blocked by the stick of O'Rourke. Now picked up on the far boards. A bouncing puck ping-pongs back into the corner. Taylor picking it up. Leave it for Fenwick. Fenwick back to the point for Hendricks. His shot gets blocked in front by Bridges. Fenwick back into the near corner, pinned up to the wall by O'Rourke. Now it's Taylor. Trying to kick it free, but Nixon McKegg will knock it loose. Sent back down the ice is Leo Hendricks into his own zone. Round for Jaden LeCastro. Plays it up the boards and slash down the ice. And Hewitt won't be able to reach it before it goes for an icing against Team Tavares.
Two good shifts there back-to-back from Team Tavares. The Quinn, Grima line, and then the Fenwick and Samek line with Matty Taylor. Two good shifts, getting some pressure in, alleviating the pressure from their defensemen, getting in the offensive zone and trying to create some chances. So nice, two good shifts back-to-back.
Tanner Adams picks it up off the draw. In the offensive end for Team Suzuki. Drop that pass off, but it gets taken away, and away goes Team Tavares, but pulled free by Davidson at center. Huning couldn't get a pass across. Roman Van Acker drops it off for Declan McNally. Ethan Davidson plays it through the skates of Hendricks, and he's into the offensive end. Davidson plays it in for Adams, bounces back to the corner for Huning. Adams picks up in the far corner. Tanner Adams around the boards, flipping it back to the point. Kept in by Davidson, but pass taken away, and Tisic's out to center. He'll find Roman Stefan into the offensive zone. Draws a penalty against Adams as Hendricks fires a shot that goes off a body and wide, and the puck will be touched up. Tanner Adams off to the box. 7:32 to go in the second period, and Team Tavares with a power play to try and tie it.
I thought that was two back-to-back good shifts from Adams. Yes, he's headed to the box right now, but seeing a little bit more of the offensive creativity, what he can do down low. We saw the physicality yesterday coming through, but a little bit more offensive creation and protecting the puck down low to see that side of his game come through today. So in the box, but I thought he had two back-to-back good shifts there, showcasing him with offensive tools.
Rory Shaughnessy keeps it alive at the line. Matheson and Lauren with a quick shot. Gets punched out by Bennett. Quick reaction from the Team Suzuki goaltender. Team Tavares keeps it in at the line. Flip down low, and Jake Readings trying to find Shaughnessy. Van Giffen send this one back into the Team Tavares zone for Matheson to try and settle a rolling puck. Matheson plays this one out for Shaughnessy. Dumps it in for Readings in the corner. Round the far boards. Lachlan Whelan chips it off the wall. Shaughnessy will have to go back into his own zone. 75 seconds remain in the power play for Team Tavares. Down 3-2 with 6:40 to go in the second period, as Hintenberger will fire this one down the ice. Shaughnessy resets back in behind his own net. Andrew Lauren, good chance right at the start of this power play, plays it off for Evan Bannister. Walking in down low and stops up at the goal line. Back to the point for Matheson, keeps it alive on the deflection. Grima couldn't pull it loose, and Christakos sends it all the way back into the Team Tavares zone. Here's Braden Grima. He was the MVP in Game 1, but he's going to get an illegal screen by Shane Roche. They'll send us to 4-on-4 for 35 seconds.
Some 4-on-4 action here, open ice. We have Kate O'Rourke on the ice. We'll see what he can do and work his magic with more ice to work with. And we'll see if we get some wow factor from him. But more ice for everybody. We have Mason Quinn on the ice and Cole Giuseppe, so more space for the speedster Giuseppe to work.
Face-off won by Giuseppe for Team Tavares as Jane LeCastro resets it behind Sokolov. Lucas Matheson up the boards for Mason Quinn, out to center. Nixon McKegg pulls it free. McKegg walks into the offensive zone, drops it back to O'Rourke at the point. Makes a move into the middle, into Fitzgerald in the corner. Fitzgerald tried a centering pass, knocked down by Matheson. This one picked up, played back to the line by Riley. Now O'Rourke walks in, his shot stopped by Sokolov. And Jane LeCastro will work this up the ice for Mason Quinn. Quinn driving in on McKegg, bounces off a check, tried a centering pass, it was knocked down by Kluche. Cross-ice pass, he was looking for LeCastro in front, but Kate O'Rourke there, and he'll play it ahead for Braden Riley. It's Team Suzuki on the power play now. Riley lost it, Mason Quinn gets it to center. Kate O'Rourke pulls it free. Taken away by Cole Giuseppe. Giuseppe into the offensive zone, turned aside by Bennett. And O'Rourke picks up the loose puck. Slide it off to Nixon McKegg. Vaughn Kings finds his teammate Kane Kluche. Kluche snaps it back to the point. O'Rourke's shot gets blocked by his junior Canadians teammate Braden Grima. And this one turned and fired down the ice by Taden Smith, who has the only goal of this second period to make it a 3-2 game. Austin Bennett has time to reset, and he'll leave it for Kate O'Rourke. Play it ahead for Kane Kluche. Kluche stops up in the offensive zone as Team Suzuki getting set with 10 seconds to go in the power play. Works it off to McNally. Down low, a chance in front, and that one whipped wide of the net. Good chance there for Team Suzuki and Kuklinski. Now it's back to the point. Kluche switches spots with Davidson. Works his way into the corner. Kluche trying to spin free the check from Leo Hendricks. Played around the boards and McNally pinches down. Back to the line and kept alive by Ethan Bridges. He'll work it across. Kuklinski lost it on the stick handle, and away goes Grima. He's got Taylor with him. Grima, Taylor going to the net. He'll drop it off. Stepping in and firing it wide was Samek. Now Taylor banks it into the far corner. Declan McNally banks it off the glass, and Rory Shaughnessy resets. Leo Hendricks in the neutral zone, tipped in by Joseph Fenwick. Play it into the corner for Samek. Fenwick pulls it free, back to the line for Matheson. His shot deflected in front and goes high and wide. Shaughnessy pinches down from the point. It's picked up by Roman Vanacker, and away goes Team Suzuki. Kuklinski driving in on Matheson. He gets knocked down, and Matheson plays it around the boards. Colton Van Geffen will have to reset out at center. Fenwick will pull it free. He'll get ahead with his Markham Majors teammate as that shot gets stopped by Bennett off the stick of Lucas Matheson. Started by a couple Markham Majors and Joseph Fenwick and Jack Samek, and a good look for Team Tavares, but can't equalize this game at 3.
Yeah, they've been getting chances every time they're on the ice working, and Matheson makes a play on the defensive side, then activates, gets up ice, and receives the pass for a chance. But this Samek, Fenwick, Taylor line is working well for Tavares and getting chances.
Hintenberger banks it off the boards. LeCastro knocks it down at center. Tanner Adams lost it. Tissick driving in, centering, and a big hit by Van Geffen on Nathan Hewitt in front, as Team Tavares will have to reset out at center. Hintenberger pulls this one free up the ice. Now LeCastro banks it off the wall. Roman Chiffon into the offensive zone. Pulls it loose. into the slot, poked free by Hunink, and he's away with Tanner Adams. Adams into the offensive end, snaps it across. Roman Van Acker fires, and that gets kicked out by Sokolov. Van Acker knocked free in the corner. Roman Stefan stepping in to try and pull it loose. Gets played up the wall for Hewitt. That goes past Van Giffen. Puck on its edge, but won't reach for an icing. Colton Van Giffen of the Huron-Perth Lakers resets, being chased down by Nathan Hewitt of the Niagara North Stars. Battle for the puck in the corner and pulled free by Tissick of the Ottawa Valley Titans. Hintenberger in there as well as it's pulled free by Hewitt. Hewitt banks it off the boards. Now Tissick trying to get a centering pass, but Lachlan Whelan right there. Played it to the line, kept in by LeCastro. LeCastro into the corner. Stefan trying to dig it free, but Lachlan Whelan comes away with it. Played around the boards, and Colton Van Giffen gets it to the line. Shane Roche dumps it into the corner. Hintenberger. So we're under a minute to go here in the second period. Pulled free as Lauren fanned on a shot, but a chance in front sent wide by Evan Bannister. Andrew Lauren in the corner, battling and pinned up to the wall by Van Giffen. Sent down the ice by Team Suzuki, and this will be an icing and an offensive zone draw for Team Tavares with 38 seconds to go.
Some good forechecking there from Jacob Tissick and Nathan Hewitt as well. We've been saying a lot of the other lines from Team Tavares thus far, but a nice shift there from them, getting in down low, working pucks along the wall and winning battles down low and getting a decent chance there.
Lachlan Whelan wins the draw for Team Suzuki, and Kate O'Rourke with a high flip through center. Send Leo Hendricks back to chase it down and catches an edge. That'll be an icing against Team Suzuki. 30 seconds left. And they'll have to reset after everybody in a foot race for that one.
They have a late period goal up their sleeve here.
They had 3 of them yesterday. Team Suzuki had 2 goals in the final minute of the first period, so nothing would surprise us up here as Kate O'Rourke pulls this one free. They'll high flip this one back out to center again. It goes right on to Sokolov. Rebound for Robinson, and he gets turned aside. And the net came off its moorings on the near post for Igor Sokolov, who had to make the stop on that high flip through center by Kate O'Rourke.
Almost something there for Robinson. Hustle was there to get in behind the defense. Flip from O'Rourke to Springham.
Team Tavares is getting kicked out of the face-off circle, so a new face-off man. Bannister out. Reading stepped in, and he won it. It's Jaden LeCastro. Play it up the boards, and Andrew Lauren swings it out to center, but this one went off a glove at the Team Suzuki bench. So we'll see a face-off in the neutral zone, back in the offensive zone for Team Suzuki as they had a quick huddle to talk things over and 13.8 seconds to go in the period. Lachlan Whelan on the draw, but he'll be kicked out. So Nicholas Kristanko steps in against Bannister. And quick shot right off the draw, goes off the outside of the post for Lachlan Whelan. Now Andrew Lauren gets it out to center with 5 seconds remaining in the period. Pass gets knocked down by O'Rourke. This one dumped in by Lauren as the second period comes to an end. Here from the Miskinlock Community Complex in Peterborough, 3-2 Team Suzuki. Only goal of that second period coming from the defenseman from the Sudbury Wolves, Tayden Smith.
Yeah, good period all around, I think, for both teams. They had guys chipping in and creating chances at both ends of the ice. There still the Giuseppe goal, and good pass from Mason Quinn, who's having a solid game. Plain Cloutier finds the back of the net with a quick shot.
We'll step aside on the other side of the break. General Manager of the Brantford Bulldogs, Spencer Hyman, joins us here from the Miskinlock Community Complex in Peterborough. Final game of the U16 OHL Top Prospect Showcase on FloHockey. The Michigan Law Community Complex, final day of the OHL U16 Top Prospect Showcase. Pleased to be joined with the general manager of the Brantford Bulldogs, Spencer Hyman. Spencer, an event like this for you in your first year as the general manager for the Bulldogs, how important is it for you to get eyes on these kids who will be going through the draft process and being there with your scouts to take a look at some of the guys who will be coming into the OHL in the next couple of years?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great event to be at. Obviously the first time the league's put it on, and grateful that they were able to gather all the top players, rated players for an event that we can kind of see them all together, get all the teams together, a celebration for the top prospects. So I think it's fantastic. Really happy to be here. And really valuable time to spend with our scouts too.
Brantford Bulldogs were the host of the Connor McDavid Top Prospects game in the OHL last year. Obviously, Jake O'Brien having a big game in that event, scoring the game winner. This year, you have Caleb Malhotra in the event. How important has he been to the Brantford Bulldogs organization in his first season in the OHL?
Yeah, we have Caleb and Vladdy Durecki, so we have two of them here. Caleb's been unbelievable for us. We knew coming into the year, obviously just meeting with him in the summer, seeing his approach to how he handles everything. He's a pro, and he's been an unbelievable force for us in all areas of the game, offensively, defensively, face-offs, power play, penalty kill. He plays every situation, so I think he's done an unbelievable job for us. And then obviously Vladdy Durecki Jr. as well. I think he's one of the most offensively gifted defensemen in the draft, and I'm really excited for both of them to be able to show off their talent tonight.
Really good opportunity for those young men in front of the NHL scouts, the OHL scouts here at this event. For you and your staff, you don't have to give us all the secret sauce behind what you guys do, but what are you looking for from these players at an event like this where there's a mix of players they might not be comfortable with, playing with players from different teams and different leagues, but getting together and get to showcase with some of the best draft talent available in the OHL this year?
Yeah, I think it's really valuable. I think it's good to see kids and outside their comfort zone, right? You want to see that and see how they handle it, how they respond. For me, it's always come down to work ethic, compete, playing with pace, making sure that they're doing everything they can to help their team win. And I always revert back to watching players that play like my brother. That's my kind of player, playing with heart, passion, and love for the game. And so I think when you get events like this, seeing kids that really just love hockey, love playing and being here, and a lot of good ones out there today.
Now, your team very busy throughout the course of the season. You added a few players in the offseason via free agency, and then some big trades as you get into the swing of the season. A great start. Your team sitting at the top of the Eastern Conference standings. Why was it so important for you to make those moves, bring in those key players, Jet Luchenko and Charlie Paquette from Guelph, Zach Sandu, Ben Danford from Oshawa? What went into that process for your team to have the best shot to win an OHL title this year?
Yeah, you know what, when I took over as general manager, and the foundation that was left for me was amazing. Having a core of Jake O'Brien and Merrick Van Acker, Owen Protz, Adam Juracek, and our two goalies, David Egrov and Ryerson Leanders. I felt having those guys, it was very important to surround them with talent. We had a couple good moves early on. Obviously, we picked up the second overall pick in the import draft. We're very lucky to secure Adam Banach to come over here, and he's been an unbelievable impact player for us, and obviously Vladdy Durecki as well. So for us, it's really, putting the team in the best position to win every single year. Some years you're going to feel like you have a better chance than others. This year we felt like we had a really good opportunity to be aggressive and to put our team in the best position to win. And, I feel like we've done that. We've left it all out there, and now it's up to our players and our staff to win the games and do the job. But there's a ton of really high-end teams in the league this year. The West is going to be really strong. Barrie, Ottawa, Peterborough, North Bay, Niagara, the East. There's a ton of good teams, and something Red Berenson always said when I was at Michigan is the best team doesn't always win. So you never take any game for granted. You always got to do the work and play. And I'm just happy that we feel like we put our team in the best position to succeed. And we'll see what happens.
Now with your group, you mentioned Merrick Van Acker, obviously his younger brother Roman in this event, a couple younger brothers in this event. Does it make it easier when there's kids you already have an idea of the family and the parents and all that stuff, and the kids that are going through with them playing in this event, getting ready to potentially draft them moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's cool. Obviously, I know Roman, Merrick's brother, is one of the prospects here today, and there's other kids that have brothers that play in the league. I think it makes it easier on the player, obviously knowing what to expect. His brother went through interview processes and, prospect games and challenges. So I think it's really cool. It's a lot of fun for the family, and really excited for them.
Spencer Hyman, the general manager of the Brantford Bulldogs, joining us at the second intermission at the OHL U16 Top Prospect Showcase. We'll be back with the third period after this on FloHockey. Back inside the Miskin Lawn Community Complex in Peterborough, day 2 of the OHL U16 Top Prospect Showcase. It's Mason Quinn and Team Tavares down 3-2 after 2 periods of play, and the guy who's had a strong showing so far today, Jordan.
Yeah, working well down low, working in the offensive zone, making smart decisions, just making things happen for his line.
Team Suzuki wins the draw off the opening faceoff. Nixon McKegg and Kate O'Rourke out on the back end. And McKegg will start it back out from his own zone. That's offside as Kuklinski was working in. So we'll get a faceoff out at center just 15 seconds into this third period. 20-minute third period, 3-2 lead for Team Suzuki. They had 4 goals in the third yesterday against Team Byfield, who won earlier today against Team McDavid. Team Tavares won 3-2 over Team McDavid yesterday with a goal, 1:14 to go in the third from Matthew Taylor. Kate O'Rourke back in his own zone with Nixon McKegg. McKegg will feed it back across for Kate O'Rourke. Poked off his stick. McKegg right there to feed it ahead. Kuklinski taken off the puck by Samek. Taylor flips it through center. Matthew Taylor feeds it in. Fenwick into the slot, pulled free by Samek. Bouncing puck goes into the corner. Jack Samek of the Markham Majors works it down low for Matthew Taylor. Taylor trying to feed it back in front. It went off the side of the net. Picked up by Samek, and he works it back to the line for Rory Shaughnessy. Shaughnessy fires. It goes wide off a body. And then flipped up the boards by Ethan Bridges, but kept in at the line. Matheson works it around the wall, and Kate O'Rourke slow things down as changes start to happen here. O'Rourke will find Nixon McKegg, who works it ahead for Kuklinski. Crafting his way through, Nathan Hewitt. Flips it ahead, Taylor. Into the offensive zone for Team Tavares. No fire one wide to the far post and got stood up by Kuklinski as LeCastro gets it back from Hewitt in the corner. Jaden LeCastro working his way in. His shot goes wide of the net. Battle for the puck back in the Team Suzuki zone as Hintenberger can't clear. And Hewitt picks up. He'll bank it to the point for LeCastro. It jumps off his stick and back out to center. Shane Roche. Toronto Marlboros off to Hewitt. Niagara North Stars and King Kluche. Devon Kings works in. Now it's Tanner Adams. Works this one off for his Hill Academy teammate Shaden Hintenberger, but taken away by Hewitt. Away goes Team Tavares to center. And offside at the offensive line was Jacob Tissick of the Ottawa Valley Titans.
Almost going back the other way there. Jacob Tissick up ice, looking for the pass. I thought another good shift from Shane Roach. Breaking plays up in his own defensive end, chipping pucks up, just doing those little things right to win battles. Said it probably 5 times between yesterday and today, just playing a strong defensive game.
Face-off won by Evan Bannister at center. Andrew Lauren into the offensive end. His shot deflected up and out of play by Shaden Hintenberger of the Hill Academy, very well represented at this event. All comes to a close tonight with the Connor McDavid Top Prospects game presented by Enbridge Gas, the Peterborough Memorial Center. Adam Novotny in Team East against Ethan Belchez in Team West. Top draft eligible players for the 2026 NHL entry draft. LeCastro, one-time shot goes wide. Picked up by Colton Van Geffen. Readings pulls it free and back to the line for Shane Roche. No fire, that gets knocked down in front. Readings turned aside by Bennett. And away goes Kane Kluche. Knock it through center. Hunick feeds it across for Kluche, and that takes a bounce, and off to the boards is a big hit on Lauren by Tanner Adams. And a penalty coming up here to Tanner Adams for roughing. So that'll send Team Tavares to the power play with a chance to tie it almost 3 minutes into this third period.
We've shown it a few times now, or talked about it a few times, the physicality from Tanner Adams. Looking to play on the edge there a little bit high maybe. Getting the guy in the cage, but don't want to take it away from him, discourage him, but playing the physicality game in, game out here from Adams.
Face-off won by Team Suzuki, and Declan McNally of the Don Mills Flyers sends it down the ice. We talked about Tanner Adams off the top of the show yesterday about how physical he is, as Christako's trying to get a chance shorthanded, but Team Tavares will reset back in behind their own net. Told he plays hockey like a linebacker in football. We've seen a lot of that physicality. Big hit there, but like you said, a little bit high, and it resulted in his second minor penalty of the game as LeCastro sets up in the offensive zone for Team Tavares. LeCastro back to Shane Roche. He'll fire through traffic. That gets stopped by Austin Bennett. Out of Ottawa Myers, he'll get a face-off with 1:16 to go in the power play for Team Tavares.
Extended shift here for Shane Roche and Jaden LeCastro to see if they can get something going and tie the game up, being the Marlboro's defense pairing on Team Tavares working the power play. So a little bit extra juice there for them to see if they can get something going.
Face-off won by Team Tavares. Roche at the line with Grima, and his shot gets deflected up and out of play. Just 5 seconds come off the clock there, and still some time on the power play for Team Tavares to try and find the equalizer. All 3 of their goals yesterday came in the final 90 seconds of each period. Braden Grima keeps it alive in the offensive zone, steps away from the check from Whelan. Shane Roche back at the blue line, switches spots with his Marlboro's teammate Jaden LeCastro. Down low for another Marlboro and Mason Quinn. 3 of them out there with a junior Canadian and Braden Grima, an Upper Canada College player, and Cole Giuseppe as this one sent down the ice. And Igor Sokolov, Marlboro's goaltender, leaves that one back in his own zone. Changes starting here with 35 seconds to go in the power play. Kate O'Rourke rips this one down the ice shorthanded. Lucas Matheson back in behind his own net, spins away from Roman Vanacker. Out to center and with some speed into the offensive zone is Fenwick, and he gets turned aside by Bennett. Rebound to the line, kept in by Matheson. Matthew Taylor down to the goal line and back to Fenwick at the point. Cross for Rory Shaughnessy of the Hill Academy. He'll fire, stopped by Bennett, and he covers up for a face-off. 5 seconds to go in the power play for Team Tavares.
More from Fenwick and Samek creating as the Markham Majors line. Fenwick gets a little burst of speed to beat the defender to the outside, to beat McCaig to the outside and drive in for a good chance. But this duo of Markham Majors have been putting on the pressure.
Matheson holds the line. Steps away from Riley, fires a shot that gets blocked by O'Rourke. Back out to center, O'Rourke feeling it as Evan Fitzgerald streaking in. Forced into the corner by Rory Shaughnessy. Now it's Quinn Roberts. Up the wall, pulls it free. Pinned up to the boards by Matheson, but able to get it in deep for Riley. Shaughnessy pulls it loose. Up the wall, and Matthew Taylor resets. Fenwick flips this one through center, Nixon McKay. Knocked free, and Evan Fitzgerald drops it back. McKay works it back for O'Rourke, still out there after blocking that shot. Looked like he was wincing when he got up, but staying on the ice, and O'Rourke knocks it down in his own zone, keeping it away from Hewitt. To the line, kept in by Hewitt. He goes back out to center, and that's offside as Tissick was a step into the offensive zone early. Shade over 14 minutes gone. Or 14 minutes to go in this third period. 3-2 lead for Team Suzuki.
Gerald was looking for a breakaway pass there from O'Rourke. Couldn't find him. Leaking up ice to try to get going the other way and get something going, but couldn't quite find the pass from O'Rourke.
Roman Stefan works this one across for Tayden Smith. Leo Hendricks plays it ahead, tipped in to the Team Suzuki zone, and Hintenberger around the boards. Kuklinski. Boston, Stefan has it in the slot. He fires, punched out by Bennett. Tissick worked it down low. Stefan into the corner, back to the point. Tayden Smith back to Stefan at the line. Works that one off. Smith has his stick tied up. And Hintenberger will bank it off the wall for himself. Finds it in the corner in the offensive zone for Team Suzuki. Centers it. It goes back to the line. Van Geffen feeds it in front and tipped just wide by Ethan Bridges. Kuklinski back to the point. Van Geffen down low for Bridges. Pinned up to the wall, and Hendricks scrums it up the boards. Hewitt puts this one off for Roman Stefan. Windsor Junior Spitfires. Dumped into the corner. Now it's Stefan taking it away behind the net, works it up the boards. Cross-ice pass for LeCastro, goes under his stick. Keeps it alive against Bridges, but Bridges pulls it free. King Cloutier knocked off the puck. Stefan works it off for Tissick. Played to the line, kept in by LeCastro. He'll fire through traffic and just missed the top near corner. Now it's Shane Roche sending it through the crease. LeCastro picks up on the near wall. Cycle it in for Nathan Hewitt. Pinned up to the boards by Van Geffen. Hintenberger trying to pull it free. Tissick pulled it loose. Hewitt down in the corner. Throws it around the boards, and he'll pick it up in the far corner. Hewitt tried to play it back to the line, but Tissick was going for a change. Roche resets in the neutral zone and gets onside with LeCastro. Shane Roche driving in. Davidson knocked it free. Kept alive by Bannister. Now LeCastro. Down low for Jake Readings. Bannister. Cross for LeCastro. Find it along the line. Sends it in. Taken away by Huning. And Shea Huning couldn't clear the zone as Shane Roche took it away. He'll feed it in for Readings. Readings sends it into the slot. Tanner Adams took it free. He'll flip it around the boards. Colton Van Geffen will fire it down the ice. No icing on the play as Roche turned as that puck was rolling towards him. Tanner Adams knocks it free. Adams tried to do the Michigan move, but it rolled off his stick, and Roche gets it down the ice. Long shift for Roche and LeCastro as they get a change. And Ethan Davidson spins free back in his own zone. Declan McNally off the boards. Shea Huning feeds it across. Tanner Adams with some speed. Fires a shot that goes high and wide. Around the wall, Huning into the corner. Big collision in the corner on Matheson, but Team Tavares getting it to the line, kept in by McNally. Works it off to Tanner Adams. Adams back to the point for Davidson, trying to slash that one through. Lauren flips it down the ice, and Adams is the first one back for Team Suzuki. Declan McNally has his pass picked off by Mason Quinn. He'll drop it off. Huning picks up for Team Suzuki, and they're up the ice. He's got Roman Van Acker with him. Shea Huning fires, that gets shouldered out. Rebound pops into the circle. Picked up by Grima. And Rory Shaughnessy joining the rush. Brings it up the ice. Giuseppe off to Grima. Drops it off. Quinn steps in and fires it wide. Ennis Robinson out to center. Christakos has his pass knocked down and sent back into the Team Suzuki zone. And Braden Grima will pick up in the corner. Centering pass bounces off his stick. Cato Rourke flips it down the ice. Taden Smith, the first one back for Team Tavares. He gets checked into the wall by Christakos. Pulled free by Lachlan Whelan. Now Mason Quinn plays it ahead for Grima. One-on-one with O'Rourke, but he's got Giuseppe going to the net. Grima fires. That goes off the side of the goal. Grima chasing it down on Christakos in the near corner. Kicks it free for Giuseppe. Now it's Mason Quinn. Off the far wall, Cato Rourke. Turns it over to Cole Giuseppe. Sets up in the offensive zone. Team Tavares down 3-2 with 9:15 to go in the third. Grima puts it in front, and Quinn has his shot deflect and go wide. Grima picks up in the corner. Centering pass and a bouncing puck, but corralled by Ethan Bridges. Sent back down the ice by Team Suzuki. And that will be an icing with 8:59 to go in the third period.
Good shift there from Grima and Quinn, working down low, creating chances. Grima especially had some good passing plays there, spotting his teammates in scoring position, showing that awareness and feel for pressure that we talked about earlier with Grima, just knowing where his teammates are, showing the confidence and the patience, take a couple seconds and spot his line mates.
Face-off won by Team Suzuki, and Hintenberger banks it off the glass and down the ice. Another icing coming against Team Suzuki, so they'll reset. Back to the left of Austin Bennett. 8:52 to go in the third, and a 3-2 lead for Team Suzuki. All 3 goals for them coming in the first period. 2 of them coming in the final 45 seconds. There's a hand pass called against Team Tavares, so this faceoff coming out to center.
We'll see if this Fenwick and Samek line keep the momentum up. That's usually been the way things have gone for Team Tavares, of those 2 lines following each other up with good shifts.
Evan Fitzgerald kicked out of the face-off circle. Quinn Roberts steps in. Braden Riley works it back for Colton Van Geffen. Shaden Hindenberger of the Hill Academy out to center and banks this into the offensive zone for Team Suzuki. Dane LaCastro spinning free from a check from Evan Fitzgerald. Matthew Taylor tips it out to center. Away goes Jack Samek. Quinn Roberts knocked him down, and another power play coming up to Team Tavares, who's been carrying a lot of this offensive pressure in the third, but can they get one to get back even?
Yeah, another opportunity for them. We'll see what they can do. Samek moving his feet, drawing the penalty. Roberts coming in over top with a little hook there, but we'll see what they can do. They got a good line out there to work it around and get some good opportunities.
Face-off won by Team Tavares. They're down by 1 with 8:15 to go in the third and on the power play. And Roche's pass for LaCastro got deflected out to center. So LaCastro will reset back in his own zone. It was pulled free by Kukulinski of the Mississauga Senators. Roche pulled it back, and LaCastro up the ice for Joseph Fenwick. Jack Samek, 2 of Markham Major's teammates, setting up in the offensive zone. Matthew Taylor, Ajax Pickering Raider, the 2 defensemen are from the Marlboros. Shane Roche has it in the middle at the line. He'll fire through traffic, kicked out by Austin Bennett. And now Kukulinski will send it down the ice where Igor Sokolov will settle it down and play it off for Shane Roche. Lucas Matheson starts out from the Team Tavares zone and plays it back for Roman Stefan. Stefan into the offensive zone, spins free on the boards, back to Matheson at the point. Rory Shaughnessy, back to Matheson. Snap it across, and this one banks in behind the net. Hewitt. Niagara North Stars plays it back to Shaughnessy, down low. Tissick back in front and deflected wide by Nathan Hewitt. Back to the line. Lucas Matheson. Down low for Tissick. Now it's Stefan snapping it across for Shaughnessy. Holding on the boards is a penalty coming up to Hewitt. And they might take both of them, and I believe they are. Kate O'Rourke and Nathan Hewitt for a scrum in front with 6:47 to go in the third.
Stefan had some creativity there, controlling the puck on the power play, working things. I thought Matheson has had some better moments later in the third period of showing his offensive abilities, of how he moves the puck and how he can move his feet. And it looks like he has, still on the power play, an opportunity for Matheson and Shaughnessy to keep swinging pucks around and trying to create chances.
So it'll stay 5-on-4. As Kate O'Rourke joins Quinn Roberts in the box. 27 seconds of power play time, like you mentioned, and Roman Stefan. Cross from Matheson, steps in, and he scores! Lucas Matheson right off the face-off, rips it home, and the Barrie Colt makes it a 3-3 game on the power play with 6:41 to go in the third.
Yeah, I just mentioned that. He's an offensive-minded defenseman, creeps in, gets the slip pass across, and fires it home. So seeing a little bit more of that offensive ability from Matheson to creep in and finish the sequence off. Nice pass from Stefan, I believe, there, spotting the lane, spotting the cutting defender. So a good 1-2 play from 2 guys that have had a few good moments in this game, but cap it off there to tie things up.
Good bounce back for Team Tavares as well. They're being down 3-1, thinking they were going into that break after the first period, tied at 1. Now a chance back the other way for Jake Readings for Team Tavares. His shot gets deflected wide. Andrew Lauren throws it back in front, and Austin Bennett deflects it off to the boards. Rory Shaughnessy down low. Andrew Lauren back in front for Readings. Puck sitting at the side of the net. Shea Huning bank it off the boards. Colton Van Geffen back in behind his own net. Lauren Lost it to Hindenburger. Shea Hunick out for Tanner Adams at center. Full head of steam into the offensive zone. Hunick fires, stopped by Sokolov, and the rebound covered up by Igor Sokolov on a good rush chance for Shea Hunick and Tanner Adams.
Yeah, Adams playing at both ends of the ice, has a hit in his defensive zone, then quick up the other way, creates a rush chance, drop pass for a good scoring chance there for Hunick. But Adams both ends of the ice, making his presence known, finishing a check in his defensive end, and then up ice he goes.
6 minutes to play in the third. We're tied at 3 between Team Tavares and Team Suzuki. Both teams winning yesterday. Lachlan Whelan fires this into the offensive end. Tatum Smith will start the breakout for Team Tavares. Cole Giuseppe flips this one in for Mason Quinn. It gets knocked down, and a high stick on the puck called. That doesn't allow Team Suzuki to break out of their own zone.
Yeah, we talked about Davidson before. We haven't talked about him thus far, but defending his blue line well, using his reach, not allow the easy zone entry there. Bigger defenseman, likes to engage, likes to defend well, and someone that can occupy space with his reach there, shutting down the entry.
Central Ontario Wolves. This one banked off the glass and up and out of play by Ethan Davidson. He was taking a hit from Braden Grima. Played a couple games with the King Rebellion in the OJHL this year. Ennis Robinson on the face-off, wins it against Cole Giuseppe. Ethan Davidson up the ice for Ennis Robinson. Feeds it in for Christakos. He fires into the chest of Igor Sokolov.
We've seen that a lot. The quick pass to the defenseman up ice to spark chances the other way. Nice pass from Robinson, hitting the cutting Christakos, who has a nice chance, but those quick passes D to D, then up, right, quick transition the other direction.
Face-off won by Giuseppe. Picked up in the corner, and a centering pass from Roman Van Acker. It's thrown wide, but kicked out by Sokolov on the quick chance from the slot. Van Acker pinned up to the wall by Tatum Smith. Grima banks it off the boards for Giuseppe, taken away by Declan McNally at center. And that's offside as Ethan Davidson went into the offensive zone, and Ennis Robinson a step ahead.
5 minutes to go. Last game of the showcase, last opportunity to make some magic, especially for someone like Jack Samick we've talked about, not having the opportunities thus far. Good moment for him, maybe last shift or two, to make something happen.
Matthew Taylor on that line with the Markham Majors, who had the game winner with 1:14 to go in the third yesterday. Evan Fitzgerald plays it off the boards. Quinn Roberts out to center. Colton Van Geffen can't catch up to it as Shane Roche stops up. Lost it to Braden Riley. Feeds it in front, and LeCastro banks it off the far wall. Knocked down by Roche to the line. Kept in by Team Suzuki. Braden Riley will chase it down on his U16 teammate LeCastro. Roberts couldn't corral it in the offensive zone, but kept alive by Van Geffen. Quinn Roberts down low, centering pass, knocked down by the stick of LeCastro. Penalty coming up here to Braden Riley as he flipped Jack Samick's stick into the air. 4:13 to go in the third, and Team Suzuki's had a lengthy trail to the penalty box in this one, and Team Tavares with a chance to convert.
Yeah, they've had plenty of opportunities. When you have the power play, you have control of the puck, and you're able to showcase your ability. So play's always been one end of the ice with all these penalties, so we'll see if Tavares can convert here to maybe give the game-winning goal here.
It wasn't one of those soft stick lifts where it just kind of popped out of his hands.
Almost hit the rafters.
It went high into the air. Easy one to see for the officials. As Team Tavares back on the power play in this third period. We're tied at 3, 4:05 to go in the final frame. Jane LeCastro swings back to the point. Shane Roche plays it down low. Matthew Taylor in for Roche, and he scores! Shane Roche banks it in off the post. Back-to-back power play goals, and Team Tavares has a 4-3 lead with 3:52 to go in the third.
We've called his name a lot for play on the defensive side of the puck, and he chips in here offensively. Feeds the puck down low and gets it back from a pass from Taylor, I believe, and then finishes off with a nice play there. So contributing at both ends of the ice for Roche. He's had a great game defending and getting stops and getting pucks up ice, but chips in there, walks in, and finishes, and potentially gives Team Tavares the victory here. We'll see with 4 minutes to go.
Joseph Fenwick with the screen in front. And like you mentioned, Matthew Taylor with the pass. He scored the game winner yesterday. Scored a big goal in a big moment, got a big assist in a big moment as Castro with a big hit. That'll send Team Suzuki to the power play as he rocked Declan McNally down to the ice. So Team Suzuki with 3:40 to go in the third, a chance to respond immediately.
Another opportunity here for Suzuki to get back in. We'll see the replay on the LaCastro hit potentially and see what he's headed to the box for, but it looked like a little bit of hit maybe in the numbers slightly, or a little bit away from the boards there. Gets called for boarding, and Suzuki has a chance here to respond.
4-3 lead for Team Tavares. Cade O'Rourke keeps it alive at the line. Kane Kluche snaps it down low for Tanner Adams. Adams back to Kluche up top. Works it across for Cade O'Rourke. Down low is a cross-ice pass by Kuklinski, gets deflected away, but Kluche finds the loose puck. He'll work to the middle at the line. Kane Kluche of the Vaughan Kings crafts in. His shot gets deflected and stays out as Roche plays it around the far boards. Tanner Adams in the corner, spinning away from Roche and opens up. Back to the point, Kuklinski. Into the middle, O'Rourke. Works it off for Kane Kluche. Kluche kicks it to himself. Cross for O'Rourke. O'Rourke played this one in for Ethan Bridges. Taken away by Team Tavares and sent down the ice by Jacob Tisek. 1:05 to go in the power play for Team Suzuki as Cade O'Rourke brings it up the ice. Cade O'Rourke forced off to the corner by Rory Shaughnessy. This one all the way back down is Austin Bennett. Will corral for Kane Kluche. 45 seconds remain in the power play for Team Suzuki. Had a 3-1 lead after 20 minutes of play. They're down 4-3 late in the third. Kuklinski back to the line for Lachlan Whelan. Quinny Red Devil trying to snap it across, but Evan Bannister with a good stick. Credit River Capital knocks it out of play. 29 seconds to go in the penalty to Team Tavares.
Yeah, I thought early in that power play sequence you saw what Kane Kluche was all about, wheeling around the offensive zone, showing the confidence and the composure with the puck and handling. So a couple power play sequences where he's been at the center point.
Nicholas Christakos back for Lachlan Whelan. Now it's Nixon McKay. Drops it back to Van Acker at the point. McKay back to Van Acker up top. Off to Lachlan Whelan. Plays it down low. Christakos back to Whelan on the boards. Whelan steps down, switches spots with Christakos and gives him the puck. It's swept to the line, kept in by Nixon McKay. McKay works it across for Schmidt. We're back to 5-on-5. Roman Van Acker, I should say. Roman Schmidt, the former defenseman for the Kitchener Rangers and Kingston Frontenacs. Lachlan Whelan, 90 seconds to go in the third. 4-3 lead for Team Tavares. Puck kept alive at the line by Nixon McKay. Drives in, knocked off the puck by Readings. And Lachlan Whelan will reset out at center. And that's offside against Team Suzuki with 1:16 to go in the third period. Surprised we didn't see Austin Bennett go to the bench sooner in that sequence.
Time's dwindling down. We'll see if they have one last push here. We have the Quinn Roberts heading out over the ice, who's done some damage. Evan Fitzgerald as well. Innes Robinson's been going, but one last push here for Team Suzuki. We see Cade O'Rourke on the ice, so one last go here to see if they can tie things up.
1:16 to go in the third. 4-3 lead for Team Tavares. Here goes Quinn Roberts. Knocked down by Shane Roche as Nixon McKegg gets it back and dumps it in. Innes Robinson chases it down. Austin Bennett to the bench for Team Suzuki. 6-on-5. Just over a minute to play. Puck up the wall. Cade O'Rourke kept it alive, but poked out to center by Readings, and now McKegg chasing it down, keeps it away from Andrew Lauren, and McKegg will bank it around for Cade O'Rourke. Plays it up for Braden Riley. Evan Fitzgerald has it knocked off his stick. Samek finds Readings, and he scores. Jake Ratings of the London Junior Knights makes it 5-3 for Team Tavares with 41 seconds to go in the third.
Samek, nice play under pressure, composure, not throwing the puck away. Takes a second to look for his options, spots Ratings up ice. So not rushing things, not panicking on the big stage with a minute to go with a lead. To take a second, look for your options, and Samek helps Tavares pot the go-ahead goal here that should secure things.
4 unanswered in this one for Team Tavares after trailing 3-1 after the first period. Team Suzuki resetting back in their own zone. Jaden Hintenberger lays it out for Evan Fitzgerald of the Vaughan Kings, and Leo Hendricks, Eastern Ontario Wild, dumps it in. Puck flipped out to center. Taden Smith, but a big goal in the second period for Team Tavares to pull him back within 1. Mason Quinn with the last rush, under 10 to play here in the third. This puck flipped out to center. And Evan Fitzgerald throws it in front, but it goes wide and the game comes to an end. So Team Tavares, in exciting fashion yesterday, scoring with 1:14 to go in the third, and then today scoring a power play goal with 4 minutes to go, thanks to Shane Roche, and then an empty netter by Jake Ratings gives them a 5-3 win over Team Suzuki.
Yeah, a lot of the GTHL guys were going for Team Tavares. The Castro, Roche pairing, the Fenwick, the Grima, and Samek, those guys were all contributing a ton for Team Tavares and helping them generate offense and create chances. So good showing for a lot of those guys to rebound and come and give it today.
Teams make their way to the blue lines. We'll step aside for our post-game ceremony here at Miskin Law Community Complex in Peterborough. Number 88 for both teams, Kane Kluche, the MVP for Team Suzuki, had a good game, scored a goal, had a really good showcase from the Vaughan Kings of the GTHL.
Yeah, highly offensive, skilled, creative player. You saw that a bunch on the power play, what he can do, what he can work, and why he's one of the top players in the GTHL this season with the Vaughan Kings. And the other end, Lucas Matheson on the back end. High-octane, skilled defender who has all the mobility package. You saw bits and pieces of it throughout this game of what he's capable of, and both deserving nominations for the MVP.
Lucas Matheson, like you mentioned, had the 3-3 goal in the third. As we take a look at some of the highlights, that was the Braden Riley goal in the first period. That made it 3-1 for Team Suzuki. And then that Taden Smith shot that gets through. Lachlan Whelan hitting the post for Team Suzuki. A lot of high-end skill on display over the course of this game.
Yeah, for sure. It was a good showcase of both teams. We didn't see quite as much from Cade O'Rourke today, but there was some flashes of moments from him and a good showing for both teams. So good way to end the event for both teams. I'm sure everybody comes away happy with their performances and looking forward to the conclusion of this event, as it was a good showcase of the players.
A lot of high-end skill on display over the course of this event. Over the last 2 days, the top 80 players in the province of Ontario coming together So you see Lucas Matheson scoring there as Team Tavares picks up their second win of the event. And then this one from Shane Roche ends up being the game winner for Team Tavares on a feed from Matthew Taylor. And then Jake Readings into an empty net to seal it here for Team Tavares, picking up their second win in as many games as we welcome on Kane Cloutier from Team Suzuki. Oh, not yet, but Kane Cloutier is going to join us in just a moment. And a really good showing from him and Team Suzuki offensively, as Kane Cloutier with a very good showing. And now we welcome on Kane Cloutier from the Vaughan Kings. Kane, over the course of the 2 days, how have you felt about how you showed off your game in front of all the scouts across the Ontario Hockey League?
It's been great. It's been a lot of fun. Obviously, Peterborough hosted a great event, and it was a lot of fun.
You had to play with some highly skilled players. Your team put up 6 goals yesterday, 3 today, 9 goals in 2 games. What was going right offensively for your team over the last 2 days?
Just being unselfish, a bunch of top players, and we just use each other to benefit ourselves.
Did you find it difficult in that first period yesterday to get that chemistry going with the guys who you normally don't play with?
Yeah, it started a bit slow, but as we got time with each other, it started to pick up.
What does it mean to you to play in this event, get to showcase your talents, being a part of this top prospect showcase with some of the best players across the province?
It's a lot of fun. It's a huge honor, and had a lot of fun playing with a lot of top players.
You get to play for the Vaughan Kings in the GTHL. A really good program, your team gearing up for a run in the playoffs and then for an OHL Cup this year as well. What can you take from this experience back to the Vaughan Kings U16 team?
Just seeing how everyone prepares, and it's all as a family, and we want to do it for each other, and we're going to have a great stretch for the rest of the year.
Well, you guys were well represented at this event. Congratulations on the MVP on a great 2 days playing here in Peterborough.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Kane Cloutier of Team Suzuki, a great showing here at the U16 tournament. What did you like about his game over the course of 2 days?
Yeah, I think it's the creativity. When he gets the puck, he sees the plays, and he's not rushing his decision. He's taking his time. Yes, he has the skill, and yes, it can be flashy in moments, but the creativity and the confidence to slow things down, look for his options, and attack offensively. So one of the more, I would say, creative and offensively gifted players in the class. So when you see it take over, especially on the power play, he can really make his magic.
A lot of Vaughan Kings represented in this event. Easy to see if you're watching at home. Maybe a team you want to focus on down the stretch of the season and go watch play. A lot of gifted and creative players like Nixon McKegg and Evan Fitzgerald as well, who had good showings of their own in this event.
Yeah, Adrian Scrow as well, the Vaughan Kings. I mean, there's a lot of GTHL teams where it's, the Declan McNally's on the defense end and on the Marlboroughs. We talked about a lot of guys today where every GTHL team is loaded with talent where, they could have 4 or 5 guys in the top 2 rounds, and you see them represented here today, and a lot of them had good showings. So really good, impressive showing from the GTHL players, and you see why they're highly regarded of playing in the best league in Ontario and on the best teams and doing well. So nice to see them all perform here today and showcase their tools.
Talked about the GTHL teams. You mentioned the Marlboroughs. Very well represented in this game. It felt like every time there was a shift change, there was another Marlborough coming over the ice. Of course, that great defensive pairing for Team Tavares and Shane Roche and Jane LaCastro, and the Junior Canadians well represented in this event as well. Braden Grima was his team's MVP yesterday. Kate O'Rourke had a very strong game yesterday as well for Team Suzuki. So the Junior Canadians well represented in this event after being the 3rd-ranked team in the OHL Cup Power Rankings this week.
Yeah, Jace Vortman as well, Cash Quaja. They have a lot of guys who showed well here today, and there's even guys on their team that weren't invited, and same with a lot of these GTHL teams. There's guys who didn't make the cut to get invited here or worthy players of being considered top in the class, but a lot of good showings from the GTHL programs, especially Braden Grima, I thought brought it. He played well. O'Rourke was the star of the show yesterday, had a bit of that today, but the Braden Grima offensive toolkit was on display. Some moments from Quaja and Vortman, but again, all these GTHL programs bring some top-end talent who showed up to play today and showcase their tools to all the scouts in the building.
This OMHA team's having a good showing as well. Matthew Taylor, a goal yesterday that won his team the game-winning assist on the Shane Roche goal. Lucas Matheson, who is the game MVP for Team Tavares as well. So a lot of OMHA teams and players putting their names forward as some top-tier players in this draft process.
Yeah, Kyler Lauder as well. Yesterday had 2 goals. He had a bit of a, I would say, better game today, even though he didn't convert and score. But you saw some of those offensive creativity and the skills he has. So yeah, the OMHA and even the Alliance, the London Junior Knights guys, some of the Huron-Perth Lakers guys showed up. Like Ethan Bridges played well here today. Van Geffen might have had more of a simple, effective defensive game, but there was some showings from all over, even the Ottawa guys. There was good showings there, and Tayden Smith scored a goal today. Christakos had a good chance. So all over from across the province, there was good showings, and they made their cases in front of the scouts.
Top 72 skaters and 8 goaltenders in the province, putting it together and putting on this show over the course of 2 days at the Miskinlock Community Complex in Peterborough, as Team Tavares seals the show with 2 victories over the course of the last 2 days. And we're now joined by Lucas Matheson, the game MVP for Team Tavares. Lucas, how you feeling after your performance and your team's performance over the last 2 days?
Yeah, it's great. You know, we got all these guys out here. Haven't played with many of them, so kind of got the sewer going before the game to connect with the boys. And then out there, felt great. Got a lot of chemistry, especially in our second game, and got the dub.
You talk about the chemistry there. Who are some of your favorite guys to play with that you normally don't get the opportunity to play with your local team?
Yeah, I got to play both games with Rory Shaughnessy as my D partner. He was great. Got to talk to him a lot on the bench, just going over stuff and kind of review our shifts. And then up on the front end, kind of guys that I've played against, like Evan Bannister, kind of good to have him on my side instead of him coming down on me.
Makes it a little bit easier when he's on your team than going up against you. You wouldn't have heard this because you were playing in the game during the course of the broadcast, but my partner Jordan Millette said right before you scored to tie the game at 3, I think this is time for Luke Matheson to score a goal, and you did. What did you see off that play to get that one to go to tie the game at 3 in the third?
Yeah, I just saw a draw on the left side, and I was the weak side defenseman. It was kind of a battle off the draw. Everybody collapsed to that corner. I slid down, and I got a great pass down the seam, and then fired it low glove.
Play for the Barrie Colts in the OMHA loop. What can you